What's going on, guys? It's Dime, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be attempting to make from scratch a Gunstock war club. This is one somebody had given me. They wanted this custom sheath made for it. But we're going to be using this as a basic example to get the geometry of everything kind of, close. I already got it drawn out on this board right here. I changed the shape a little bit on it. I got it drawn out there. So we're going to be cutting this out. I'm going to be going outside and using my circular saw and these main straight lines on it. The ones I can get easily with that. And get as far in as I can here and, get it as close as I can with the big saw, and then we'll do the rest by hand shaping. And I'm going to be attempting to use an old lawnmower blade, and I'm going to heat it up with a torch and hammer it flat, and then cut it out with an angle grinder to the shape that I want, similar to this one. A little bit different, but similar. Let's get to it. Alright, y'all, I got it roughed out with the circular saw. The rest of it's going to be carving, shaping it out with my Mower knife, a coping saw to get like this radius right here, and that one right there maybe, and this one. My 4-in-1 rasp and file. This folding pull saw to get that corner cut out a little more, cut this corner straight off, that kind of thing. And then sandpaper. Yeah, let's get to it. Alright, I got a lot of it roughly shaped out just with my knife. Now I'm going to go back with my file and rasp and then sandpaper it all. I didn't round out these edges yet. I'm going to do that with the file. Let's get to that. There's it all roughed out, all the edges rounded out using that rasp. Now I'm going to go back over it all with sandpaper and sand it all the way up to 400, this entire thing. And then we're going to burnish it. And then I got to get a slit drilled for the blade to stick out of it. And then we got to get that blade cut out. So let's get to sanding this down first. I like that quite a bit. Made all that grain pop. That's cool how it did that. Just chose every other grain to burnish. I like that. That's pretty awesome. Alright, I'm going to get this sanded down one more time. Might hit it one more time with the torch, and then we'll get it oiled up. Let's get to it. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Let's get some oil on this thing, see how it really looks. That looks pretty good with that oil on there. I like that. I feel like that's the right amount of character I was looking for on that. I love how that grain burnished. That's awesome. Alright, it's getting dark outside, so I'll be starting on that blade for this in the morning. I'll see y'all then. Alright, y'all, I don't have a forge or anything, so I'm going to be taking this mower blade and a couple of propane torches and just putting them on it, getting it nice and hot. We'll hammer this part flat, and then once it's flat, we'll let it cool. I'll draw on my shape, and then we'll cut it out with an angle grinder to get the blade started. Let's get to it. There's one bin taken out of that. Now I got to heat up this lower section and get it straightened out. Alright, got some more of that bin taken out of there. Got to heat up this end and get it straightened out now. And then we'll, fix it up a little bit once it's all pretty close. We'll get it as good as we can. Let's keep going. Got it pretty straight. We'll heat it up a little more, get a little bit more of that bend out of there. And we're gonna, try and get it as straight as possible, and then we'll get it cut out with the angle grinder. Alright, say that's straight enough for what I need. Let's cool it off real quick. Now I got to mark out where my Sharpie mark's going to go for me to cut. Let's get that planned out. Alright, y'all. Got the rough of the blade cut out. Kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like when it's done. Something like that. I got to carve a slit in this, and I got to put bevels in this and cut into it so the epoxy and everything will stay, and drill a couple holes for pins. Let's keep going. Alright, as you can see, I just roughed this up so it'll have the epoxy will have something to stick to. I'm also going to be drilling and pinning this. Next, I'm going to move to putting the bevels in. Just switched from a cutoff wheel to a flat disc. Let's get this clamped down and get those bevels put in there. Alright, y'all. Got those bevels put in there. They're not perfect. I wasn't expecting them to be, though. This is my first real full metalworking project, so I'm happy with it. Alright, last thing I gotta do to this blade, besides drill the holes, which I'll do later once I get it set into the stock. I gotta heat this up and try and heat treat it the best I can, just using torches and water. It's a lawnmower blade, so it's not gonna get that hard anyway. It's not a perfect working edge. This is more about having a point than sharp edges anyway. Alright, that's the hardness we're getting to it. That's as hot as we're getting with the torches, and that's as good as I can do, so that's how it's going to be right there. Now let's go inside, let's clean this up with sandpaper, let's get that hole carved out in the stock, let's get this thing put in there. Alright guys, I got that blade made out, got it ready. I got it transferred right here with some real light pencil marks, and I got the center drawn out on this board. What I'm gonna be doing is taking a drill bit and drilling on those two lines to the point, and then all the way across with the drill bit, and then we'll be coming back finishing that hole out, cleaning it up with this little carving knife, a little file, and maybe this keyhole saw. I might need that, so we might be using that. And that'll pretty much be it to get that slot carved in this for that blade to stick in. Let's get to it. Alright, I got a drill bit that's just slightly, it's about the same diameter as this blade is, maybe slightly a tiny bit smaller, but that's gonna work for me. It'll be a tight fit in there, that'll be good. Let's get going. Alright, got the two ends drilled out. Now I just need to go all the way down that middle. Alright, got that hollowed out enough where this blade fits back in there. It's a pretty solid fit. I'm going to be putting 2 pins, drilling and putting 2 pins in it, and it's all getting epoxied together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of that deer hide from one of my previous projects, and I'm going to be putting it right here in a V coming back like how they would have wrapped them originally to fit them on there. They would have used like sinew, but I'm going to use deer hide with the fur still on it, sticking out right there, and then putting a nice leather wrapped handle on it. That's what we're going to do next. I got to get this blade cleaned up a little bit. I don't want it to look all brand new and shiny. I like a little bit of that patina on there, especially for something like this. It's fitting. But I'm going to get some of that black like scale from heating it up off of there. Sand it lightly, and we'll see how this goes. I'm going to hit it a little more with some sandpaper, but that's pretty good. You get the idea. I'm going to get all this surface rust off with sandpaper and we'll oil it down. I'll probably wait to oil it now that I think about it until after we get it put in there, so there's nothing on there for the epoxy to mess up. But I'm going to keep sanding this and I'll get back to y'all here in a minute. Alright, let that epoxy set up a little bit, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to drill those couple holes and we're going to pin it. Alright, let that glue set up for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and drill out these holes right here for the pins. This might take a minute because I'm drilling through the metal as well. Alright, there's one hole. Let's get this other one and then we'll get these pins in here. I'm going to go ahead and set one pin in so that they don't get unaligned, misaligned. Alright, there's those two holes. Now I gotta get these two pins put in here. These are just some little nails I got. They're gonna work for me, for my purposes. Alright, y'all. Got a leather strip cut out for this handle wrap. Let's get this on here. What I might end up doing is taking this off, coating the entire backside of this leather in glue, and then roughing up this with some low grit sandpaper. So I think I'm going to do that real quick. Alright, I'm going to leave that clamped, let the glue dry a little bit, and then I'll cut off that tail and have it finished a little better. Alright, I went ahead and got this cut out and got the holes punched. Y'all have seen me do that before. I'm going to get these stitched into here, and then I'll get back to y'all when I'm about to throw this on the Gunstock War Club. Alright y'all, I got all the sewing done, got it stuck on here. Now I'm going to flip these back. I'm going to throw some epoxy around the edges on both sides, and then get it pushed down real good, and then get these back stitches put in. Let's do it. Alright guys, I've let the glue dry a good amount. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hit all this leather with some Neat's foot oil, and then we're going to hit the rest of the wood with some olive oil. See how much this leather darkens up once I hit it with this. I think it's going to turn out good. And I did go ahead and put some little tiny nails in the back of this to kind of help hold that leather in place, make sure none of the layers shift on it. It is all glued, but that was kind of holding it while the glue was drying. I don't think it looks bad, so I'm alright with it. Alright, y'all. Last thing is going to be oiling up this wood, and then we're calling this one a finished project. Pretty big difference between there and there. And then I'm going to let all this oil soak in, and then I'll get back to y'all here in a minute. Alright, y'all. There's a finished product. This was the entire build of making a Gunstock war club. I hope you all enjoyed. This was a fun project. Let me know in the comments if you guys liked it, what you think of it, how I can improve, what you want to see next. If you'd like to see me make a sheath for this to cover this blade, let me know. Yeah. Subscribe to stay up to date with the new content coming out. Yeah, this has been Dime, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.